Hey guys, welcome to BTech. It's Basil here giving you a quick comparison between the Sony Xperia Z2 and the Samsung Galaxy S5. Both of these phones announced the MWC 2014 pack quad-core internals, full HD displays and the most powerful camera sensors on the block. But what's different about them? Well, we're going to start off by talking about that design, and you can see the Sony Xperia Z2 has a glass front and back and very angular edges. The Samsung Galaxy S5 is significantly more ergonomic in the hand. It's grippy textured backing and it does sit really well. It is quite light and comfortable device to hold, but it also feels significantly cheaper by comparison. The reason for that is the dappled plastic back hasn't won us over, and it is a removable back cover. It isn't a unibody metal frame device like the Xperia Z2. So talking about key device elements on the S5, you can see the home button doubles up as a fingerprint scanner to authenticate payments, for example. You've also got capacitor buttons either side, front-facing camera. On the left side is a power button, and you've also got a little wedge where you can remove the back cover. Down at the base, under the flap, is a micro USB port, micro USB 3 to be precise. And it's under the flap because it is indeed water resistant. Left side volume rocker, up at the top 3.5mm headphone jack. On the flip side, you've got that 16 megapixel rear facing camera and a heart rate monitor, as well as that dappled plastic back we were talking about. We can pull off the back cover to reveal that plastic backing, the weatherproof sealing, battery, removable media, camera. Now talking about the Sony Xperia Z2, like we said, very different affair in general. You have on-screen buttons for starters, front-facing camera up top. It looks kind of like a Bravia TV. We've said this of Sony before, but it's a very classical design. Sony terms it their omnibalance design. On the left side, you can see micro SD card is under a flap. You've also got a volume rocker, two-stage camera button, and a power button as well. This is waterproof, not water resistant, so it does one-up the Samsung Galaxy S5 in that department. At the base is where you can find the loudspeaker, and you've also got a lanyard connector, while on the left side is a power dock connector, and underneath this flap you've got a micro USB port for charging and a micro SD tray. Up at the top, 3.5mm headphone jack, and on the flip side that 20.7 megapixel camera. If we take a look at both of the screens, we can see they're full HD panels. One is 5.1 inches, that's the Samsung Galaxy S5, and the other is 5.2 inches, slightly bigger. Now the AMOLED panel, or Super AMOLED panel on the S5 will look extremely poppy, vibrant, saturated colors. It's really, really nice and bright. I think it's over 500 odd nits. We can also drop the brightness right down. So if you're reading this at night, for example, it's not going to be uncomfortable at the lowest brightness. We can flick it up a little bit, and we can check out the screen on the Xperia Z2. IPS, you've got great viewing angles on here and really good color representation, though the blacks won't be as deep and it won't pop quite as much. We can pull it into frame along with the S5 and swipe through the user interface so you can gauge exactly how everything looks. As far as the internals go, you've got Android on both, obviously, which gives you access to the Google Play Store, but it's different versions of Android. Sony's version of Android is significantly lighter than Samsung's, or at least it is on first impression. You have a range of home screens. Samsung clearly were inspired by Sony with their home screen management system. You also have themes that you can very, very easily swap out, for example, so we can apply some heat to this. And we can also pull down the notifications bar, activate some quick settings, and edit these to get up to around 16 on the screen. The applications tray is quite traditional. This is a prototype unit, by the way, so if it's slightly non-responsive, that is why. And as we swipe through, you can see traditional applications tray, and pulling through to the left, a really simple way of organizing all your applications. On the Samsung Galaxy S5, you have a different system. You've got all your home screens, but you've also got this HTC Blink Feed type UI on the left. It's called My Magazine. It's an evolution of My Magazine on the Samsung Galaxy Note 3. Up at the top, you've got all your quick settings, which you can swipe through or expand on, like so. Pulling that up, we can jump into the applications tray, and this is very, very simple when compared to older Samsung devices with no widget options, although you do have an option to hide, uninstall and disable apps from here, and go into some help settings. You do have some aggressive power-saving modes on both. Now, they have different battery sizes. Think the Samsung Galaxy S5 is 2800 milliamps. The Sony Xperia Z2 is 3200 milliamps. So the Z2 is significantly larger in terms of battery size. It does have something called battery stamina mode, though. We can jump into the settings quickly, opening it up like so. Opening up the Samsung Galaxy S5 settings, we can see the respective power management settings. So you've got power saving mode. You've got a simple power saving mode on the Samsung Galaxy S5, or you have an ultra power saving mode. If we activate the ultra power saving mode, and we can see while that enables what power stamina mode is on the Z2. This just blacklists applications that you can then whitelist in order to have them running when the screen is turned off. So when the screen is off, you won't be able to use any applications unless they're whitelisted. Still hasn't finished loading that ultra power saving mode on the Samsung Galaxy S5. What it's going to do is it's going to make the entire UI monochromatic so that it takes full advantage of that AMOLED display and only shows off blacks and whites. It also gives you an indication as to how much time you've got left. So we've got around 9 hours on this device. You can turn it off quite easily by just pulling down the notifications bar and disabling it. The rest of the UI is relatively samey. You have Android application support for both Google Play Store access, which is fantastic. It makes sense that we talk a little bit about the cameras on both of the phones. You've got a 20.7 megapixel sensor on the Xperia Z2, and on the Samsung Galaxy S5 you've got a 16 megapixel sensor. Both have a range of shooting modes, as you can see. Samsung's actually simplified their shooting modes so that Shot and More, for example, combines 5, just like Nokia SmartCam. On the Sony UI you can actually download more shooting modes just like you can on the Samsung UI, but it's more clear what all these things do. Like background defocus is on the Sony app right here. Background defocus is on the Samsung phone right there. You've also got HDR mode up there. That's all part of Superior Auto on here. So they offer very similar things, but they just do it in different packages. As far as our first impressions go, they also both give you very good shooting experiences. Autofocus seems a little bit quicker on the Samsung Galaxy S5, though the digital image stabilization seemed a little bit superior on the Z2. As for how they actually do compare in side-by-sides, we'll let you know on btech.com. Like we said, both record 4K video as well, so should make for fantastic shooting experiences. As far as the specs go, you've got 3 gigabytes of RAM in the Sony Xperia Z2, 2 gigabytes of RAM in the Samsung Galaxy S5. The Xperia Z2 has a 2.3 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 processor, whereas it's a 2.5 gigahertz. I think it's an 801 processor, but it may be an 805 processor that Samsung hasn't confirmed in the Samsung Galaxy S5. What's more, you've got 16 gig internal memory on both, micro SD expandability, in addition to Cat 4 LTE on the Samsung Galaxy S5. Like I said, comparable devices but very different. Hopefully you've enjoyed our comparison. More to the point, hopefully it has helped you figure out what's different and possibly which one is right for you. Fire us a comment in the comments section below if you've got any questions about either of these phones, and make sure if you've enjoyed the video you click the like button, and if you enjoy the channel in general, just click subscribe. Thanks for watching. At the top of the screen is where you can find 3 hand-picked videos for your viewing pleasure. On the bottom left is where you can subscribe, and on the right hand side you can check out our exclusive deals over at btech.com.